And welcome to The Conversation Continues. Sergio Chapa, San Antonio Business Journal, Scott Huddleston, San Antonio Express News. Scott, we've been talking about the fate of the redevelopment of Alamo Plaza. And I'm old enough to remember that this isn't the first time we've tried to do this.
Right.
We tried to do this back in the early 90s, and it absolutely fell to pieces. This is a very emotional topic to talk about, and it seems like at the end of the day, the decision needs to be made about whether the Alamo is a San Antonio institution or whether or not it is a universal symbol and a universal destination.
Right. You're absolutely right. This has been going on for decades. We've been talking about this. There was a study committee in 1994 that looked at it and recommended closing those streets in the plaza to traffic. It never happened.
We did close one street. Remember, the road used to run right smack in front of the front door of the Alamo.
Right. Alamo Plaza East, right. That was the one result that actually came to fruition. But for the most part, that vision has never been brought forward. Now you've got the city and the state working together at an unprecedented level. And so, you know, people are excited about it. A lot of people are concerned about it, and some people are just downright angry about it.
And who's going to pay for it?
Well, it is a public-private partnership, so ostensibly once a plan is approved by City Council, they've got a bona fide agreement in place with the land office to manage that site, then the Alamo Endowment will begin in earnest to raise funds.
So to summarize, Alamo Street will be closed. The cenotaph, in all likelihood, will be moved to the south near the Menger. And in all likelihood, there will be some delineation point around the walls of the old mission.
Right.
So people, everybody who comes to the Alamo, we've all brought friends to the Alamo, and we've all heard people say, boy, it's so small. And then this will enable people to at least get an idea of the size of the battlefield, the size of the mission, to kind of go back a little bit into the 19th century and have a better idea of what historically happened there.
Right. It will change the way that people view the Alamo, because the plaza, the part of it that was within those historic walls, will be delineated, possibly surrounded by a 42-inch handrail. During the day, there will be one primary entrance point from the west by roughly where the Crockett building is now, and possibly two overflow entrances during high traffic days. In the evening, there will be 6 entry points into the plaza. But city officials are saying nonetheless that there will be 24/7 access. It's just that you'll have to walk around the rails and into an entrance if you want to access this place.
So the idea is that for the historical-minded traveler, who I think we're interested in having the Alamo appeal to, it's been compared to Gettysburg, it's been compared to Pearl Harbor. So this is the sort of target audience we're looking for. The goal is for that person to be able to visualize better, just like you can at Gettysburg, what exactly happened where, and where the history took place.
Right. And it's also telling the broader story of the mission San Antonio de Valero. It was founded as a mission at that site in 1724. And that's why they're trying to complete the project by 2024 for the 300th anniversary of that.
So you think, fingers crossed, this time we're going to make it?
Well, hopefully something will come to fruition that most people can agree on. Not everybody's going to get exactly what they want, I'm thinking.
Sergio, one thing that most people can agree on is the importance of the oil industry and the manufacturing industries to San Antonio and South Texas. And it's been said that NAFTA essentially created San Antonio's manufacturing industry, helped bring Toyota here. Texas now has almost 1 million people employed in manufacturing, which is interesting considering that we keep hearing that manufacturing is dead in this country and all the jobs have gone elsewhere. How significant will this new U.S.-Mexico trade agreement be in maintaining some of those numbers and even making the manufacturing, energy, and tech industries more powerful in Texas?
Right. No, it's going to be really important in keeping what we got and growing it, hopefully. If we can get some more. The challenge here is to get more foreign investment here in San Antonio, or to expand operations that export to Mexico and other nations. But I tell you what, the big thing that is just out of this preliminary trade deal between the United States and Mexico, one of the kind of buried underneath, there's no actual document you can look at or download or read, so no one really knows the details yet. But one of the things that they do want to address is what you spoke about, what you mentioned, and that's energy. Right now, with the shale revolution here in the state of Texas, we've been very successful here in Texas in the Lone Star State of developing these oil and gas resources, and then refining them into gasoline and diesel and all the things that people need and use, and plastics and everything. And a lot of those things are going to Mexico to be exported. Mexico's importing huge numbers of huge volumes, I should say, of natural gas and of natural gas, gasoline, and diesel. Mexico right now imports like 5.6 billion, that's billion with a B, cubic feet of natural gas per day, and most of it's coming from Texas, from places like the Eagle Ford Shale and from, the Permian Basin. And, San Antonio companies actually play a huge role in those exports to Mexico. You've got Valero, which has refineries in Corpus Christi and Houston that export gasoline and diesel to Mexico. And then Valero is also investing in facilities in Mexico itself, And then you have Andeavor, another refining company that's opened up gas stations in places like Baja California, Tijuana, Sonora, all that. And then they're going to also do it in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, and places in northern and central Mexico. So I mean, this deal, and if it works out, it could be very beneficial to our companies here, not just on the manufacturing side, but also in the energy sector.
Well, thank you, Sergio, and thank you both for joining us today on The Conversation Continues. All right, thank you. Imagine